Hello and welcome to another episode of The Message, where we talk about what you're talking about. I have with me today Dr. Crystal Edwards, our superintendent, Deputy Superintendent Amy Pugh, and we're excited just to share with you some of the things that we're hearing are going on. One of those things that is really at the forefront of what we're doing day to day, even in the evenings with our community, is our budget process. Dr. Edwards, where are we in the budget process, and just what are some of our priorities?
Well, we are extremely excited about this upcoming budget. We think there's something in it for everyone. We have a lot of needs, but we have a lot of talented people working in on it. So why don't we start with early childhood education and talk about what's in this budget for early childhood?
Absolutely. So we have an additional pre-K3 classroom with a teacher and an assistant, as well as a pre-K4 classroom with a teacher and assistant. And we also are putting in some funds for some continued support of trauma-informed practices. So we're really excited to be able to expand our early childhood program in the city of Lynchburg.
Awesome. That is good. That is good. Earlier education, when we talk about the needs of our students, we find that if we can capture them early and get them reading, understanding processes with regard to education, then we have a great chance of seeing them successful through to graduation and beyond.
It is important.
Absolutely. And if we continue that in the elementary area, as Amy said, we're talking about trauma-informed practices, but we're also looking at reading. And this year we had a new reading program. We want to continue to support that with foundations in Orton Gillingham and focus on our teachers and their strategies. And we've seen pretty good success this year. We actually have students who've made over a year's worth of growth in about 6 months. Yes. So we are looking forward to that continued success. One of the things that we're doing with the change in testing is making sure that our library media specialists and our libraries support our literacy goals. And right now, I don't know if many people know, but many of our media specialists serve as our testing coordinators. And Deputy Superintendent Pugh, can you tell us why that might be a problem going forward in the upcoming school year?
Yes. So historically, the Standards of Learning assessment in the state of Virginia has been one assessment at the end of the year in the spring. This year, that was changed to a pre-assessment and a post-assessment. So our students have already taken one assessment in the fall. They're getting ready to take the second assessment coming up this spring in just a few weeks. But next year, the assessment will be given 3 times a year. So we'll have a fall assessment, a mid-year assessment, and a spring assessment. So if our library media specialists are our sole testing coordinators, that's 3 times a year that our libraries might have to shut down. So it's important to us to be able to give them some support and keep those libraries open to support our literacy program.
Absolutely.
I would agree. Yes, that is important. And I'm so glad we're having that discussion because, one of the things that we understand with regard to the budget is that we need everybody. We need everybody. And with the needs, many times in our community, we're asked the question, what are you doing about those things that have impacted our students? And so it's good to hear this discussion on how every level is being impacted.
And our libraries are a hub for learning, and we want our children to enjoy the library all year long. So we're doing our best to make sure that that happens while we also meet our testing and assessment needs. There's a couple other things going on at the elementary level. We're seeing growth in our ELL population, particularly at Sheffield Elementary. So we want to provide a little additional support there with an ELL assistant. And as the community knows, we offer gifted opportunities at our Go Center at RS Payne, but we have gifted services in all of our schools. So not every child who is identified as gifted chooses to go to the Go Center. Many of them stay at their base schools. So we are also looking to hire a gifted teacher for Bedford Hills for the students who are staying at their base schools there for elementary.
Awesome. That is good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and we're going to continue to support our literacy, especially at the middle school. We're proposing an additional reading specialist there, also supporting math literacy with a math interventionist. And also because of the larger student population at Dunbar Middle School for Innovation, we're asking for an additional school counselor there to support the needs, social, emotional, and academic needs of those students.
Great. That's great to hear. we definitely want to make sure we're addressing all of those needs. And they've been different. They've been
They have
different
been.
for us. We've seen an increase in a number of things, particularly that mental health, social emotional
Yes.
learning needing to be capitalized. Just really, really, really good to hear that every area is being
Yes.
addressed.
You're probably wondering what we're doing at the high school.
Yes.
Because we haven't mentioned it. Well, remember last year we purchased 6 additional slots for students to attend the Gov School. And those students who were juniors are going to be seniors next year. So we're purchasing 6 additional slots for a new set of juniors to come into the Gov School. In addition, we wanted to provide some fantastic opportunities for our students who are interested in CTE programs. So we're partnering with the regional CTE Academy at CVCC, and we have about 20 slots for 4-credit courses for students to take advantage of that, as well as partnering with the University of Lynchburg for their teacher ed program and having some slots for our students who want to be future teachers. We're going to invest in ourselves to take advantage of programming there. And the beauty of all of these additional programs is for our families, these are absolutely free to them. This is something that we believe when we talk about every child by name, by need, we want to expand opportunities so that we meet our students' needs. Also, in terms of service, a lot goes on in the summertime. I think people wonder what we do. Our school counselors are still busily working with kids. So we do have a proposal to expand counselors from 10 months to 11 months so that students and families have access to them during the summer. It's a very important time, whether you're planning for college or just planning next year's schedule. It's important for them to have access to their high school counselor. We also are looking at moving the special education department chair from 10 months to 11 months because, again, we want to make sure we're meeting the needs of those students that need those services during the summertime when school's not in session. And then lastly, every child by name and by need. And we are so proud of all of our children that go into college right after school. We have a wonderful junior ROTC program. We have students that go into the military. We have students who go directly into the workforce. And we're proud of all of them. So one of the things that we wanted to do was hire an additional ISEP teacher, and I know our community is wondering, what does ISEP stand for? Deputy Superintendent Pugh, what is ISEP?
Yeah, ISEP is Individual Student Alternative Education Plan. So this teacher supports those students who may not be able to get the regular diploma on graduation, and they are able to work with this teacher, take the courses and credits that they need, and get a GED. So it really is us supporting every child by name and by need.
Yes, that's what I'm hearing. That's exactly what I'm hearing. And, what's so exciting about this, to those in the community plays an important part in the work that we're doing. And so we have partners in education. We have a number, Dr. Edwards has already mentioned the different colleges and universities who are partnering with us. We also have businesses and organizations and working with our Lynchburg Regional Business Alliance who want to do some things with us. And we celebrate that. We definitely want more of that. So we are suggesting that we have a part-time Partners in Education liaison to help facilitate some of that as well.
Absolutely. And also, we do a lot of work with our Education Foundation and the federal, state, and local grants.
Yes.
Another way to support our education system is through grants. So one of the positions that we're also proposing is an additional grant specialist who can help us with securing more grants, monitoring grants, and making sure that we exhaust every funding opportunity for our students. We're also looking at, with the expansion of our Wi-Fi program, and you may have heard some wonderful things about what's going on in the community, another network engineer to make sure that we keep our system safe but accessible to our students.
Yes.
And then going back to just general supports that our children need, looking at another social worker. We have a great partnership with the city. We not only serve our students, but we serve our students and their families, because when the family is whole, the student is whole. So we're looking at another social worker. We're looking at a restorative justices and practices coordinator to really transition students. We talk a lot about mental health and things that kids are going through. How do we help students back into the system when maybe they've made a mistake, but they're ready to come back to school, and we want them to be successful.
Right.
So we're proposing that. And we also want to reduce suspension, right? Suspension is not always the answer. Learning is the answer. So we're looking at that restorative practice coordinator.
Right.
And then lastly, for our students with disabilities, we have 2 supervisors in the division who serve all of our students with disabilities. And the community may not know that we not only have programs in Lynchburg City Schools that support our students, we have a wonderful program at Laurel that supports our students. And some of our students actually participate in the community in out-of-district placements. So we're suggesting another supervisor to help support those students as well.
Awesome. Awesome.
So we've done a lot of work for our staff. And I'll let Dr. Edwards cover some of them, but a few of them, just a few perks for our staff.
Yes.
Paying for certifications for those that need to get a certification. And or perhaps a background check. Historically, the staff members had to pay for that background check themselves. So we're proposing that we pay for some of those things. They're small, but they're meaningful. Also looking at a sick day payout for our veteran staff. So increasing that. We've had that, but just increasing the number of days. And also increasing the number of bereavement days for our staff so that they can perhaps travel and spend more time with family. Currently, our staff have 3 bereavement days, and we're asking for 5 to increase that to 5. So, Dr. Edwards, do you want to talk about some of the other things that are pretty significant for our staff?
Absolutely. Let's start with substitutes because we've had a lot of conversation about substitutes. So one of the things that we are proposing is to raise the pay for all substitutes. And by all, I mean teachers and nurses and bus drivers, bus assistants, instructional assistants, secretaries, custodians. We need to raise the pay for all of our substitutes. So you'll see that in our budget proposal that we're increasing that pay rate, but also increasing the pay for all of our staff. If we've learned anything in education, the people who serve our students serve them well.
Yes.
And they come to school every day. They come to work every day. They are extremely dedicated. So one of the things that we are proposing is an average salary increase of 5% next year, but it's differentiated. And when we look at some of our lower wage employees, we have to differentiate that. So some of those positions, such as our custodians, our secretaries, are going to see an 8, a 10, a 12, or even a 14% increase. We need all of our staff to be able to support their families at home so they can come to school and work and support our students here. So you will see that in our salary increase for next year and the following year if we go along with what is proposed in the governor's budget to see an average of a 5% increase the following year. So we do want to do our part to celebrate and salute our staff.
Yes.
They are the heart and soul of the work that we do with children, and very, very important to everything that we do.
I would agree. Our faculty and staff members have really been working hard.
Yes, they have.
Like nonstop, trying to make the adjustments, make some changes, and we definitely salute our staff members. February is a busy month.
It is.
And it's not without discussions about our health, our safety.
Absolutely.
Where are we with our mitigation plan and any updates there?
Absolutely. So the past couple of weeks, we've been really monitoring the percent of positive cases in the Lynchburg area. And we are really excited that, 3 weeks ago, the percentage of positive cases was 39%. Then that went down to about 29%. And just last week, it was right around, average of 20%. And so we really are looking forward to this week to seeing what that rate might be and hoping that it will continue to decrease. And so that said, we've updated our health mitigation plan, which community members can find on our website. But we are no longer contact tracing for every single case. So I want our community and our families to know that. We will contact trace if, for example, we have maybe 2 to 3 or 4 positive cases in one area in a classroom. Then we would work with the Virginia Department of Health to have them help us contact trace those. Additionally, we are only quarantining now positive cases. So we're not quarantining close contacts. And those positive cases would only quarantine for 5 days. And if in 5 days the symptoms and the fever have gone, they can return on day 6 with strict mask wearing at this point through day 10. So we're really excited to be able to make some of these changes to allow our students and staff to stay in school, to get the education that they need. And just as a reminder, we really want to say to the community, if you are eligible and able to get a vaccination, that really helps us to maintain our 5 days of in-person learning. So we will continue to monitor, and hopefully we'll be able to ease a little bit in terms of the restrictions that we have.
Absolutely. And we just had a vaccination clinic at EC Glass on February 11th, and we'll continue to partner with VDH to offer more clinics for our staff and students. And I just want everyone to know that, as we see the effects of this virus diminish and decrease, that we will continue to relax our mitigation strategies so that we can have the excellent education that we've always had and see some sense of, if there's any sense of normalcy, back in our schools. So we are looking forward to the data, the percent positivity rate, very hopeful that it will continue to decrease like it did last summer.
Yes,
when we were able to take the mask off for a little bit, I think during the month of July and August, prior to the surge of Delta. And, our actions have been in response to what we see. So as Omicron decreases, we can see some changes in our mitigation plan ahead.
Yes. And I'm certain that our students, our staff members all would celebrate the opportunity to go without the mask.
You're right.
I get that. I mentioned that February is a very, it's a busy month.
It is.
Today is Valentine's Day, so there's a lot of love being shown in and throughout our schools. We're very excited about that. It's also Black History Month, Career Technical Education Month. Tomorrow, February 15th, Tuesday, we have our school board work session, and you've mentioned the budget. We know that there will be discussions about the budget, further discussions about the budget at the work session. But I also wanted to mention that we have a special presentation. We've been working with Jane White, who's a proposer of many of the markers throughout our city. And she proposed that we celebrate and honor Samuel Kelso, who has been a champion for public education for all. And so that marker will be put outside of the, right here on Court Street, outside of the school administration building near our court. And I understand that we'll have some special guests joining us at the work session to celebrate that unveiling.
And Samuel Kelso used to teach in Lynchburg. It is even more important for us as an educational institution to celebrate one of our earlier teachers of our students here in Lynchburg.
Yes. So we have a lot to celebrate here in Lynchburg City Schools. We wanted to make sure that you know that we have not forgotten about you. We want to continue talking about what it is that you're talking about. We hope to join you at our next episode of The Message.